Worth Your Weight in Gold, Episode 2, How the Tortoise Won That Race. It's more about taking part than looking the part. If I asked you which is faster, a hare or a tortoise, you'd probably laugh and think that was a trick question, right? For sure you'd know the answer, but did you know that, on average, tortoises outlive hares by a factor of about 20 times in the lifespan? Perhaps there's a lot to be said for taking your time and moving at your own pace. We all know the story of the hare and the tortoise. The slowest of the animals takes on the fastest in a race. As the arrogant hare takes a nap close to the finish line, the lowly tortoise plods past and wins the race. Very often in my experience, the proverbial hare is all you can see or hear when looking into a mountain climb, a run or a swim. All too often I feel very like the tortoise. The fact is, however, you can be the tortoise and still reach the summit or cross the finish line. All it takes is a sense of adventure and some humility to accept your physical limits and work within them. Perceived marathon. Let's look at the London Marathon as an example. I was ecstatic when I got the letter last year telling me that I got through the ballot to run in this year's London Marathon. I eagerly started watching videos on YouTube to see everybody's stories of the previous runs. My screen was full of pictures of athletes and advice on how to run a sub-3-hour marathon. The London Marathon, as depicted in those videos, was for people who were nothing like me, doing something which would be impossible to me. Real marathon. If you search beyond the videos, however, the fact is that those who complete the London Marathon before 7 p.m. on race day qualify for a medal. With a start close to 10 a.m, that's almost 9 hours to complete the course. My training runs often have as much or more walking than running in them. Certainly one of the paces I will describe and demonstrate in a future post covers a 7-hour marathon. You may feel like the proverbial tortoise watching the video online, but you could finish that marathon within your own capabilities and with time to spare. Find your own pace. It was on the second day of the Kilimanjaro trek, as we climbed out of the jungle into the long grass towards the Shiro Plateau, that I started to fall behind. I knew that a 30-second burst of pace would take me back to the main group. Previous experience of endurance events helped me to stay where I was, walking within myself, at a pace I knew I could manage. Had I pushed to catch the group and struggled to stay with them, the trek would have been over as soon as we reached altitude. Experiencing the breathtaking views from Stella Point a few days later on one of the most incredible mornings of my life cost little more than swallowing a wee bit of pride and finishing 3 to 5 minutes behind the main group each day of the trek. Having the humility to accept your physical limits and work within them, even if other people seem more physically capable than you, can bring you to some of the most amazing moments in your life. More to the point, high up in the mountains, it can actually save your life. Slowly, slowly. I've learnt to say slowly, slowly in Nepali, Swahili and Arabic. These are the languages of the countries which I have climbed over 4,000 metres above mean sea level. I've seen people race ahead only to be lifted off the mountain hours later or the next morning suffering from acute mountain sickness. In the meantime, those of us plodding along at the back get to reach our goals. At altitude, you may have to stop for a rest and a breath after every single step. The longest mile I ever covered in my life was a mile from Mera La to High Camp, a climb of 500 vertical metres on the Mera Glacier, and it took 5 hours. A general rule of thumb for high altitude is that it takes around 1 hour to cover 100 vertical metres. Head above water. Almost immediately after the start of the open water swimathon 2017, I found myself last swimmer by a good distance. By the time I reached the first safety boat, they were asking if I was okay. Same as I completed the first of 3 500-metre laps of the open water swimming area of the Liverpool Water Sports Centre on the banks of the River Mersey. The fact was that where most of the swimmers were cutting quickly through the water swimming front crawl, I was swimming head up breaststroke. Some people told me afterwards that the reason there was concern shown for me was the stroke I was using is generally used when swimmers either tire or get into trouble. I had decided to swim breaststroke because I knew I could cover the distance with it. My front crawl was clumsy and no way I'd have completed 1500 metres with it. In the end up, slow as I was, I finished the course, got my medal and was proud as punch. Slow and steady. Walk every time you have to in a run and you'll complete a marathon. Slow down high in a mountain to save vital oxygen and you can reach the summit. Swim whatever stroke you're comfortable with on an open water swim and you'll cross the finish. We may move slow and steady like a tortoise, but we could still venture into the realm of the hare and finish the race. Whether the hare falls asleep and we win or not doesn't really matter that much. It's taking part, as they say, that counts after all. Thank you for listening. That was episode 2 of the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it and that you stay tuned for episode 3, where we're going to be looking into the benefits of a healthy heart and monitoring your heart, which is called putting your heart into your dreams. Thank you. Goodbye.